It's a new year, it's a new season, and we got a whole lot of extra football to play this year. Hello everyone and welcome back to more Norwich City, bouncing back here at the start of Season 3. It's going to be a hectic season. The Qatar World Cup is going to massively affect the calendar, and of course we are in the Europa League as well after our final day action last time out. Make sure you watch that if you haven't done so already, and make sure you subscribe as well. For the rest of the season, it could be very messy indeed. But without further ado then, let's get into the transfers on this, the first day of the Premier League season. We're going to be playing Everton, a team who we did actually beat home and away last season. But how are we going to do it? Well, we've made some pretty major investment to the side. We kind of needed to, really. And the first transfer is perhaps the biggest transfer of all. You can see there that the chairman is now Keith Edwards, because the club has changed hands over the summer. Delia Smith has gone. She sold the club. It's not like a regular takeover, it's more sort of automatic one, because she kind of reached, like, she just retired basically, so it went through very quickly. Two rival consortiums bidding for ownership. One of them was planning on replacing me as manager, one of them wasn't. Obviously the one that was planning on replacing me, they ended up buying the club, but I'm still here, so it never came up. My job was never apparently under threat at all. They were just like, yep, we're in charge, although we are delighted to inform you no further investment will be made at this stage. So really, it's just a case of, it's just not Delia anymore. There's no real difference. And we've certainly made the most of the money that we have got, I think. But starting with the released players, the only one really of any major note, Michael McGovern has gone. He's retired. A loyal servant, but not really worth it anymore. As to the outs, there's been a lot of players going out on loan. Probably the most notable one, Jacob Sorensen, has gone on loan to Charlton for a year. So he did play a lot for us in the Championship. Pretty solid, reliable performer. Quite a versatile player. Barely played at all last season, given the other options that we had. And yeah, we'll see how he gets on at Charlton. His contract's up at the end of the season and he doesn't want to sign a new one. So probably the fee we've got for the loan is going to be that. Not many sales. There are players that I would like to move on, but there's not really any interest at the moment, really. Max Lowe has gone, though. We've made a very, very tiny profit. £50,000 profit. I mean, it's still a profit at the end of the day. But yeah, he's gone to Hull City, £825,000. Played 3 times, 6.33 average rating. He was pretty awful. Not quite Premier League standard. Good luck to him at Hull. Definitely a tinge of sadness about this one. Kieran Dow has gone. A very solid, reliable, professional performer. Pretty much always did the job that was asked of him. You know, not the highest level player really, but never complained about anything over the 2 seasons that he was here. In the Championship, 35 games played, 17 last season. He was a pretty solid deputy for Emi Buendia. Not the kind of level we really need, though. We needed to upgrade, especially with more games we're going to be playing this season. The backup options will be getting considerably more game time. He has gone, therefore, to a Fortuna Dusseldorf for £4.6 million. We do wish him genuinely well. A true professional. Also going is Adam Smith, perhaps less professional. I mean, attributes-wise, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, why wasn't he better? His attributes are fantastic. At the age of 31, he's still physically amazing. Technically, he's got everything you really would want. But, well, he's gone. Considering we signed him on a free transfer, I'm fine. £6 million could rise to £7 million from Aston Villa. You look at his average rating, he was woeful when he played last season. And basically, when he wasn't playing terribly, he was just moaning about everything about the fact that he wasn't playing. So I'm not too sad that he's gone, but he was actually quite difficult to replace. I didn't expect that, given the sheer volume of right-backs that England actually have at their disposal. I made a whole video about that even, but we took quite a while to find someone to actually replace him. And that's it for the outs at the moment. Some players may well depart if we actually have any interest in them. The big news, though, is that Emi Buendia is still here. There was only one bid for him from China. It wasn't great. He didn't want to go, so he's still here, and I'm happy about that. Indeed. But as to the players who we have brought in, well, quite a lot. Quite a few regens have joined us, of course, as you would expect. This one is the one I want to highlight. Aaron Hitchman has been signed from Swansea City. £155,000. 5-star potential, apparently. Already looks pretty decent. I think he could develop quite nicely. Swansea have been relegated down to League One, so quite a bargain, I think. And also rejoining us, we've corrected a mistake here. Tyrese Omatoye has been signed back from Mainz for £875,000. Could have been considerably worse. Not as bad as Man United signing Paul Pogba after letting him go on a free. But obviously, we lost him at the end of the first season due to the fact I didn't realise his contract was expiring, and he then just signed a pre-contract agreement with Mainz on deadline day. Couldn't do anything about it, but we've done something about it now. He is now back. He has had a fantastic season in the second team at Mainz. 19 goals in 33 games. That's a pretty good record. So we welcome him back with open arms. He's developed quite nicely. I mean, he's probably only going to be sort of fourth choice, maybe competing for third choice striker this year, but we're just happy he's back. On to the major first team signings then. I think we've definitely upgraded throughout the side. 2 players in on loan. The first is Curtis Jones from Liverpool for this season, only on 20 grand a week. It's quite good value. He's a very versatile player, as you can see. I principally got him in to be the backup Mazzala behind Marco Stiepermann, competing with him. I mean, he's right-footed, which is kind of a bit of an issue for that position, but I think he'll be all right. Can, of course, play further forward if we need him to. We want to switch the system up. Can play on the wings as well. Really nice attributes. Very well-rounded player at only 21 years of age. Doesn't even need to be registered in the squad. Happy to get him in. But our other loanee comes from Manchester United, and it's Brandon Williams, who has joined us for the season. £48,500 a week is far more than I would pay for him if I had him permanently, I think. But a very versatile fullback, can obviously play on both sides. He predominantly has played on the left-hand side in real life, but he is right-footed naturally, so I'm going to use him as a right-back. Rotation option, bit of a backup to Max Aarons, who kind of fell off the boil a little bit last year, so having someone of this quality is quite good. As I say, it was quite difficult getting anyone in. There were a lot of right-backs who were just not really interested, or who are just ridiculously expensive. So to get him in on loan, his wages are a little bit high, but I think it makes sense financially for the season. Physically very good, mentally very good. Technicals could be a little bit higher, but I think overall a very, very solid right back. And next up, James Tarkowski has joined us from Burnley. Burnley obviously did not get relegated, but we've still raided them as much as we wanted to. Now this one is the transfer that, well, that my assistant manager, the scouts, the board, they're least happy about it, but I think it's going to be fine. Now, obviously, it says he's declining, but, you know, I don't think that's really very true. It says he's a squad player. It says he's a championship level player. Again, I'm not bothered about that at all. He's 29. That's, I mean, it's a little bit of an issue, but we've only paid 5.5 million from him from Burnley. Had a pretty average to poor season last year, but just look at the attributes. Ignore the fact that he's declining. He's got everything you'd want for a centre-back. Heading, marking, passing, tackling, concentration, composure, positioning. Everything that you want from an attributes perspective. There's no one better than him available to us at this kind of stage of the game. So he might not, he might decline. He might not be at the top of his game for ages. But for the next few seasons, I think he's more than capable of improving our defence. And midfield was definitely an area we need to improve as well. And I think we've definitely done that with some of the signings we have made. Hamza Chowdhury is one of them. He's joined us from Leicester City for £7.25 million, was transfer listed. Again, not had a great time over the last few years, but I think in our system he could excel. We haven't managed to get Sean Longstaff back. He would have cost more money than we had really from Newcastle. He wasn't looking to press for a move either. We may well see him again at some point, but in the meantime, we have signed a couple of midfielders to sort of fill the void left by him, and Hamza Chowdhury is the one who I think is probably going to be my main sort of starter in that role. Obviously, there are some deficiencies. His finishing and long shots are very poor. We're going to train him to try and avoid doing those. Dribbling of 11 isn't great, but everything else, mentally very good, physically very good as well. The stamina of 17, I love. 17 work rate, 16 tackling, good marking as well. Decent, solid passing. I think in that role, he could develop quite nicely with some regular game time. And then we wanted a bit more solidity between the sticks. Last season, there was a lot of rotation between Tim Krul, Jack Butland. Neither of them really covered themselves in too much glory. Krul did okay, but it was definitely an area to upgrade if we can. And, well, we've gone to Burnley once again, one of the most telegraphed transfers in the history of any FM save. Nick Pope has joined us for £10 million. He's 30 years old, but for a goalkeeper, he's got a lot of mileage left in the tank, so I think this is actually a very good deal. And again, attributes wise, he's exactly what you want from a goalkeeper, and basically the best option we could have at this point. Aerial reach, command of area, handling, one-on-ones, reflexes, it's exactly what you want. There are a few issues, maybe. I mean, you could say about his physicals, he could be a bit quicker. The kicking and passing are also not amazing, but I think they'll be okay. Even if, we're playing him as a sweeper keeper, but I think his distribution is fine enough. Has conceded a lot of goals over the last 2 seasons in a very poor Burnley team, but I think with the other players around him, I think he shouldn't have any issue at all. And what about the attacking areas? Well, we've got them covered too. We've let Kieran Dowell go. We needed someone else to sort of provide reliable cover and support for Emi Buendia, and I think with Marcus Edwards we have done that. Former Norwich player, of course, only played 1 game though in the Championship, didn't have a particularly good time here, but of course a Tottenham Academy graduate, was once the sort of jewel in the crown at the Tottenham Academy, has spent the last 3 seasons at Vitória Guimarães in Portugal and has done very, very well. His 2 in-game seasons, you can see there, fantastic record. 11.25 million is what we've paid for him. And, well, the attributes are very nice indeed. Again, all of our signings have a few negatives. I think there are some deficiencies. Natural fitness of 10 is pretty poor. Stamina of 10, he's going to be getting tired. And you can see why, because his pace, his agility, his acceleration, his balance are all exceptionally good. The first touch, the composure, the technique, the flair, there's some very nice things here. Very nice things indeed. He's not going to be necessarily the hardest of working, but he's that kind of player who is going to be coming off the bench more often than not, going to be starting games as well, of course. I think he could be the real difference maker in this side that we need to unlock defences, certainly when Buendia is not going to be available to play, because he does like getting injured, he does like getting suspended. But wait, there's more. Harry Winks has been signed as well, one of these players who just sort of, if he's available, I was always going to try and get him in. He became transfer listed sort of the midpoint of the summer for 12.75 million from Tottenham, spent last year on loan at Newcastle. Again, there's a theme. Again, there's a bit of a theme that he hasn't really played very well in the 2 seasons of the game so far, but I'm confident that we, in the system that we play, these kind of players will thrive. And for me, I mean, again, attributes-wise, fantastic. He's got everything you really want for a pretty complete midfielder. I would be happy playing him in any of the 3 roles we use. I'm going to principally play him probably as a deep line playmaker in a more defensive midfield role, but he can play as the box-to-box. He's got the dribbling for it. He can play as the Mazzala. He's got the technique for it, and I think really overall the only negative for him is obviously his sort of questionable, it's not coming up there, but his questionable injury record. Does get injured quite a lot. That's something we're going to have to watch out for, but I think he could be a real gem in this side. And finally, we've also got ourselves a new left back, and he is an old face, an old friend from the club. Jamal Lewis has been re-signed from Newcastle United. And this could be a real improvement. Greg Taylor did well last season. I think his average rating wasn't amazing, but he did actually do well in terms of his performances. But we needed an upgrade, and I think, well, this is definitely an upgrade. His physicals are obviously his primary attribute, very good there. But decent crossing and dribbling. The defensive attributes are very good. He's quite similar to Taylor in a lot of ways, but I think overall is an improvement. No negatives on his coach report. They're very happy with that. Lots of positives here. I think he could be brilliant. The main advantage for him, though, really is the fact that he is a Norwich City Academy graduate, which is going to help us out a lot when it comes to registration for the Europa League. Always a player I wanted to get back for that reason, in addition to the fact that he's just a really good left back. But having him, Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell and Adam Eder, 4 Academy graduates regularly playing in the first team, is going to be it's extremely, extremely good. The fee's a little bit pricey, but you always pay a premium for British and Irish players. And Newcastle would have wanted to make a profit, wouldn't they? I don't know if Mike Ashley's still in charge, but he's not going to want a player to go for a loss. Of course, Newcastle were relegated. We could have got him for a bit cheaper, but they kept jacking the price up, trying to create a bidding war. Eventually, 23 million is what we've had to pay. It could rise, I think, to 28 million. We did get a bit of a rebate because of the sell-on clause that we had ourselves. So actually, it was knocked down by about 2 million. So not the craziest fee for a player of his undoubted quality. And there we go, a lot more business than I thought I probably would do, but I'm pretty happy with it. The only area maybe is striker, but I'm happy with what we've got for the moment. So 34.5 million spent after the league reset date, 11.75 million brought in. We signed Tarkowski, Pope and Lewis before the reset date, so you can add on about another 30 million. So we've spent about 55-60 million. Certainly more extravagant with the cash than we were last season, but I think it's necessary to do. We want to be improving the squad. Given how many more games we're going to have to play, we need to be improving to making sure we don't slip back like other teams do and find ourselves in a relegation battle. So the Europa League hasn't been added onto here yet, but obviously we know the Qatar World Cup is going to make the run into the end of the season especially, and the start, both pretty horrific, arguably even worse than the coronavirus season. So it's going to be interesting, but we're going to be playing Everton first of all. It's a pretty good start, I think, at home, a team we did well against last year. Let's see how we can do today. So with all those new signings, we definitely now have a lot more depth, a lot more strength, and a lot more options throughout the side, which is a good thing. So exactly who the best combinations are, we will see as we go throughout the year, but this is who we're going to go with on the opening day of the season. Nick Pope, of course, is going to come straight into goal. The defence is going to be Jamal Lewis, of course, on the left, Max Aarons on the right, the Academy boys restored there. Tarkowski and Zimmerman is going to be what I'm going to go with as the centre-back partnership to start things off. Midfield, obviously we've got the most options here. Harry Winks is going to be starting in the defensive role with Hamza Chowdhury ahead of him. We could play Ronaldo Vieira, definitely going to be on the bench for this one. Marco Stiepermann is going to be starting there. Now he's a player who, again, we probably could improve, but he's just been so good. He's probably been, well, other than Ida and Buendia, he's been sort of the star man of the last 2 seasons. Fantastic record last season in terms of assists. He was one of the highest assist providers in the entire division. So it seems unfair to get rid of him from the starting lineup anytime soon. But we'll, as we evolve the team, he may well be one to drop out. Lookman is going to be starting for us on the left-hand side. Buendia is unfortunately suspended because of his actions last season, which means it's going to be a debut or a re-debut for Marcus Edwards on the right. And obviously Adam Ida is going to be up front. Obviously he did have a bit of a drought last season. Pretty much after he won the Golden Boy, only scored a couple more goals. So we want him to hit the ground running this year. Let's see if we can get off to a winning start. Nothing crazy from Everton in terms of new signings, really. They've got Zambo Anguissa and Akan in goal, but otherwise pretty much what they had at the start of the save. But they obviously had a very good squad at the start of the save. But I expect to win today. I mean, you can't want for anything less on the opening day of the season. Obviously, lots of new players who will need some time to gel, but let's see what we can do. Not much is what we can do so far, but we have got a highlight here, and working down the left-hand side, Stiepermann, lovely ball, straight to the goalkeeper. I mean, we've still got shorter passing on. That's not shorter passing. That was just ridiculous. If they score from this, I mean, what are we doing? Tarkowski with a big header finds Marcus Edwards. First time we've seen him on the ball. Goes in a bit of a mazy run. Looks for Lookman, who managed to pick it up, but he's gone a little bit too far wide. He's knocked it back, and Stiepermann heads over. He's going to take the free kick that we now have, though, and well, I mean, what a signing that was. James Tarkowski. There were doubts from the staff. There were doubts from the board. I mean, don't doubt me at all. Towering header from the former Burnley man who opens his account. I mean, it has a difficult. It was a good reaction from him. Difficult angle, and we've got the lead. Good assist from Edwards as well. It's a goal kick played out long, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Stiepermann back there defending. He's found Ademola Lookman, of course, against his former club. Beats the defender just about. John Joe Kenny, though, recovers, but Adam Ida's managed to pick up the loose ball. Needs a bit of support. Is he going to get it? Lookman's there. He's definitely supported him very well indeed. Certainly an encouraging start from all aspects of the team. I do think one of the issues last season is we did just have a bit of burnout. Everyone got a bit tired. Good hold-up play from Ida. Lookman gets a bit of luck, but he levers that one in. Not done yet. Stiepermann throws it on the left. Lookman heavily involved today. Stiepermann, well, that's a much better pass. He's found Marcus Edwards, who goes round the back across, and that's what we like to see indeed. Starting off the season, as he did last year, Adam Ida gets another goal. Now, this is a lovely move, and it's a relief as well to see Adam scoring. That was my slight doubt about the business we did this summer, is whether we needed to get another striker in. That would obviously be probably a bit more than we could afford, but if that man's going to be scoring again, I've got no worries at all. I would call that a pretty successful first half. We have scored from pretty much every highlight that we've had, with 1 or 2 exceptions. Can't afford to be complacent though. We've got a good lead, but we do have a tendency to throw games away right at the end. I mean, that's probably my fault. Should probably go defensive and things like that. But if we could just keep scoring goals, that would be nice. Ida knocks it back to Jamal Lewis, who's venturing forward a little bit. He's playing as a wing back on defend, just to keep the balance a little better in our defence, which was an issue, of course, last season. Chowdhury plays it forward to Edwards. Would be nice if he could get a goal today. He's played pretty well from what we've seen. Back to Max Aarons. There's lots of men available if you can find the cross. He does. It's blocked, but the clearance goes in. Bit of fortune about that one, but Marco Stiepermann gets his first of the season. Another good move. The fact that we're playing this well from an attacking point of view without our main man in the form of Emi Buendia is very welcome indeed. Well, we still want more. Lovely ball from Winks to find Max Aarons again on the right. Another ball from him in. It's blocked by Digne, but he doesn't go out of play. He picks up the loose ball. Edwards flings it across for Stiepermann, and this time it's wide. Defensively, we haven't been tested too much today, but looking pretty solid. Edwards in again. Ida back to Hamza Chowdhury. He's not going for a long shot, which is good. We don't want to see him doing that. We don't want to see him wasting opportunities. We're working it well again. Edwards is in, and Marcus Edwards does indeed get a goal on his second debut for the club. Has definitely deserved it today. I mean, this is what we want from him in the absence of Buendia, when he's suspended, when he's not fit. Having someone so talented to deputise for him is a good thing. And you can't really say anything negative about a 5-0 opening day win. They were restricted to one shot on target. We looked very good indeed. Debut goal for Tarkowski, debut goal for Edwards. First of the season for Lookman, Ida and Stiepermann. Yes, I'd say that's very good. Top of the league as well, look at that. I mean, there's lots of matches still to play, so it means nothing, but I'm very pleased with that. Adam scoring for the first time in a long time is a welcome relief, and this man did exceptionally well. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Does that mean we're going to get Manager of the Month as well? Or they probably won't bother doing an award given there's only been one game. Who knows? But what I do know is that has been very good indeed. Now, the transfer window is actually still going to be open for an entire month until the end of August. But I'm not planning on doing any business in terms of incomings. We might offload a few players on the fringes of the team. I expect we will probably get a bid at some point for Buendia from somewhere that he might be interested in. So that could be an issue. I'm hoping he's just going to want to stay. But we will be back next time. It would be helpful to already know when the Europa League is going to be, but I think it's going to have to be that our first appearance in Europe during the save. That will be when we come back with whatever Premier League game is around it. Certainly a very, very nice start though. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribed if you haven't subscribed already. Let me know what you think of in the comments down below about the transfers. Let me know how you think we're going to get on this season with the pressure of European football and the pressure of the, massively constricted calendar given the World Cup is going to be coming up. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.